not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government.
When a movie can make you ask yourself, are they good guys or bad guys, and who's right and who's wrong, then a movie's really working.
The horror comes from the actual reality of the situation.
Steal, kill, rape without any consequences from the law.
Somebody please, they're gonna kill me!
They're given this ultimatum, and it becomes a morality play.
Please just let us purge.
It's just terrifying.
May God be with you all.
Once I was driving in a moment of terrible road rage. My wife said, wouldn't it be great if we all had one free one a year? I was like, wow, that's a really dark thing to say, honey. But it stayed with me, and I turned that into this holiday where once a year, all crime, including murder, was legal.
James, I don't know what was going on in his head. He definitely wrote something that is very thought-provoking.
Okay, kids, now, I know bad things do happen tonight, but we can afford protection. So we'll be fine just like always, no worries, okay?
It's about how sometimes, in the name of providing for your family, you turn a blind eye to your ethics.
I thought I heard gunshots. A couple of streets back, maybe?
Look, gunshots are gonna happen tonight, okay? It's nothing. Let's go relax.
Tone was the hardest thing, actually. We wanted to play real. Otherwise, I didn't think it would be frightening. In the beginning, early drafts of the scripts, even early cuts of the film, we were almost riding the edge of satire.
Our concern was that if you make it really funny, it's never actually going to be moving. You won't emotionally connect with these people. And what we ended up trying to do is making them a real, ordinary family that you could relate to.
Hey, honey, I'm home! Oh, God, what a day!
James really thought about the journey each character would take and how this night would affect the four people in the family very differently.
Guys, look what time it is.
Oh, well, it's later than I thought. All right, it's time for lockdown. Let's go.
Ethan kind of plays real intellectual well, or he plays gruff sometimes as a cop. Here, he was playing the golden boy.
Hey, look at this. Mr. Sabian and Mr. Barbaro are going hunting. That's daring.
I mean, I've actually never played a character like this, I feel like. He's really square.
As always, just a precaution.
Slowly through the course of the movie, he finds out that he's actually a little out of touch with everything.
I think James represents apathy in a way of America. He's bought into the purge propaganda because it's made him very, very rich.
I didn't. My division sold the most upgraded security systems.
I play Mary, and she's married to Ethan's character, James, and they've just settled into this financial reward and nothing else.
You know your husband sold a new security system to almost every home in this community. You know, some people are actually saying this neighborhood paid for that new addition on your home.
Are people really saying that?
She, too, is bought into the purge, but it's almost deadened her. She's accepting the riches, but she knows there's a great cost to that.
James, he has a gun! Henry has a gun!
Henry! My character has known about the purge her whole life. It's so traumatic for her.
He's dead! Henry's dead!
She goes through different stages where she's almost like kind of catatonic. She's angry, and then she's sad, and then she's resigned.
I'm going to go hide in your secret spot.
Mm.
All right, I love you.
Behind his closet, Charlie steers Timmy around the house by remote control, and he watches what everybody's doing. He's kind of the watcher in the movie. He's the voyeur. He's almost the audience.
We came up with this system that we can push, just like you're pushing a vacuum cleaner, and it does simulate the Timmy Tank doll point of view pretty well.
I think that people are used to seeing media in very different places. I thought that was really clever on James's part.
Timmy's his eyes. Timmy's sight allows Charlie to see things he shouldn't be seeing.
Somebody please, they're gonna kill me!
Max is the moral center. He's questioning the purge from the beginning. It's odd because the audience's reaction to what Max does, some people get very angry at him for doing it, and some people find it very humanistic, what he does.
He sees it for what it really is, just sort of a monstrosity.
I play the Bloody Stranger. He is kind of the reason why all of this chaos happens.
He's a homeless man. He's an ex-war veteran. He's being targeted on this evening. The homeless don't have a place to hide, and some rich kids go out and hunt them.
The freaks are crazy. Like, I mean, they all have these weird, happy face masks.
The masks are part of their outfit. They're Halloween-like outfits.
We went through over 100 different masks. And so we finally came up with this really simple female mask that they're wearing. And it was scarier than anything else that we could have created.
They're weird. It's like bad facelifts. It's bizarre.
Mr. and Mrs., the man you're sheltering is nothing but a dirty homeless pig. You need to return him to us, alive, so that we may purge as we are entitled.
Reese, who is the lead freak, is like a Harvard grad.
He represents kind of the upper class in the society.
He's very articulate, and he's charming, and he's creepy, and he's hell-bent on killing someone.
Release the beast boys, let the killing commence!
We all recognize that the house really is the star of the film.
The house needed to be huge. It needed to represent the kind of new rich that Ethan's character and the Sandin family are, this new rich in America.
If you couldn't peg where it was, perfect. That's what we were looking for.
And it worked well. There's a lot of hiding spots to go. That was important.
Don't. You gotta leave my family out of this, okay? If you don't drop your gun, I will hurt her and I will hurt you. We didn't do anything to you. We don't deserve this. I don't deserve this either.
I think we held the line so that Americans can look into it, enjoy it, but see a mirror to our own society, see the parallels that hopefully are there.
You just gave our son a gun. You want to tell me what the hell we're doing?
We're gonna fight.
The frightening thing about this is that it's not too far-fetched.
I feel like this film could be a step in the right direction to help guide one's opinions and views about how they treat people who are different.
I mean, we do turn a blind eye to the poor. We do let horrible things happen all over the world because there's no fiscal benefit for us to stop it. So the metaphor of the movie is real.
You failed to deliver the homeless swine!
If the government could get rid of those people, would they?
If it sparks any kind of discourse about violence in a society, I think that's a good thing. If people just enjoy it, great. But if they want to talk about violence, guns in our society, that's great too.
Just after 7 a.m., March 22nd, the annual Purge has just concluded.
This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual Purge.
After we showed the first movie, a lot of people said, we want to know what happens in the streets or in the parks or in the country. So I think every single American would have a different experience on Purge night.
There was a promise in the concept of something bigger. They felt like, wow, there's so much more on this night. What's happening beyond this one family? So we always were like, let's just open it up because we think the audience wanted to see more than we gave them in the first film.
All right, we got to put it to camera, but it looks good. Yeah. Good, good. All right.
The first Purge was only told by a certain point of view, which was from the rich people in the suburbs, and you don't really understand what the Purge as a political ideology represents. And in this film, you really get to see what the Purge is and why it exists.
All the stuff that's in Purge 1 that is talked about or you see, they talk about the Founding Fathers, it's layered into the first movie. And James was able to bring it all out in the second movie and show everybody, you know, literally in the film, all that stuff he was talking about in the first movie.
Boom, boom, boom. You guys finally get the shot off. You got it. You're off now. Everybody, let's go. Let's go.
You know, we have 5 characters in the movie, and 4 get caught on Purge night who don't want to be out, and 1 wants to be out there and is purging, and that is the character of Leo that's played by Frank Grillo.
You know he's got one intent, and that is to revenge. I lose a child to a drunk driver, and You know, I'm not a person who would normally purge, but I use that device as a way to justify my revenge.
You're good with guns. Guessing you're either a cop or a criminal.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing you're either a pain in my ass or a pain in my ass. Now be quiet.
The first characters I came up with his mother and daughter who were struggling in the society, and we're seeing them just struggle in this world financially.
Ava, she's this really amazing character that goes through an incredible arc. She begins as a fairly passive, working mother of Callie. It's a very odd relationship and dynamic that they have. She's really quite codependent.
The dynamic is strange because she's a lot more introverted and Callie's really outspoken. Hey, we're gonna be fine, just like every year.
You have a mother and a daughter, a single guy out there, and a married couple. The married couple is in real life, and they played it really well on screen.
It's 5 minutes till commencement.
Yeah, I know.
We can't be stuck downtown with nowhere to go. I mean, everyone comes downtown to purge.
No one's gonna hurt you, all right? Not on my watch. We'll be okay, I promise.
I mean, I think it's interesting because they're separating at the beginning of the movie, and because of the events that happen that day, the things that really don't matter in life that start to seem to matter just disappear, and it's all about survival, and your priorities get clear very quickly in those kinds of situations.
What do we do?
There are these 3 stories, my story, the 2 girls, and then the couple. And eventually those stories become irrelevant because now we have one story, which is to survive this night.
No, please, get out of the car! Hey, we have to go now!
Having a bigger budget, not a huge budget, but a bigger budget, allowed us to do things that we could not do on the first one. We weren't sure where we were going to film the movie. We just knew we needed a city. We wanted an urban environment.
What we wanted to accomplish was we wanted people to actually feel viscerally what it would be like if you were out there and there were people hunting other people and how scary that can be.
And we scouted downtown Los Angeles.
Almost all of our movies shoot in Los Angeles, so we know pretty much every place you can shoot here.
You know, James went out there, he scouted, and he said, I can make this work here. This is perfect.
White van. Door whips open. They pull them in violently.
When you're shooting in downtown LA, it's a live, living entity. And we certainly had to contend with sounds and lights and helicopters. You know, there are helicopters going around there whether we wanted them to or not. But I think that adds to the realism of the movie.
You get over there, you run. You don't stop, you don't look back, you don't wait for me, understand? You go. Come on.
Our actors were fantastic, I'll say that. But they were running and we shot all nights, so we're talking about 3 and 4 in the morning, running down alleys, real rats everywhere. I mean, there were rats everywhere.
It was very demanding, though. There's a lot of running and jumping and fighting.
There's a lot of physical stuff that was going on. I think the first week that we shot, we had to do the scene where Carmen and I got dragged through the hallway, and there's like flames, and there's all this stuff going on, and it was wild. But I remember just wanting to do it over and over and over again. It was like a ride that I wanted to go on. It was definitely a ride.
Our actors were game, and it was physical. It was crazy. Being out in downtown LA at night, 4 in the morning with rats, made everybody feel very like we were out there purging.
We have a lot of streets, a lot of alleys, and finally here, the Hunt Club.
Scope the area. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? See some dead bodies. Boom, you see those people? Shoot at them, and then you're off.
This is kind of a upscale obstacle course.
Purgers, please suit up.
The idea that James and I talked about was, what would you want to do if you could do anything and you were a crazy rich guy with a fantasy? And I thought, what would be more fun than hunting humans in a sculpture garden?
In the oddest, most depraved way, it's a fantasy of what would you do if you could kill whoever you wanted to on that one night.
Cut, great, good, let's go one more.
I'm doing God's work. I am a one-woman fucking plague, and you're all in my path.
I thought it was really interesting, the fact that it was a social commentary on gun violence in America, which is something I'm very interested in, and what the ramifications are for all of us culturally.
The Purge really is aimed to get rid of the poor, to just sort of eradicate them from society.
It kind of makes you scratch your head about where our society is, you know, and violence and prejudice and all these things that we deal with on a daily basis. And if this would ever be a solution in some kind of crazy, macabre way.
Because it's not too far from what our reality is right now, you know? Especially in certain parts of this world.
We're in a society now that is so lopsided with a lack of middle class, and, you know, what are we doing for the people who are less privileged? And do we get rid of them? Is that the answer? I mean, you know, it's kind of like, is that what we do?
We're not making a political movie in that sense, but there is a statement within it.
James was telling us that with the first one, you know, he thought it was a commentary, and people just got really into the idea of, I would kill my boss. I wish there was a purge. And he's like, whoa, whoa, no, that's not why we're making the movie. We're not saying this should happen.
I love talking about the idea with people. I really do. It really gets people going.
I don't think that anyone walks away from this movie and says, well, that's a really great idea. We should really start to get behind making the purge a real thing. At least I hope not.
I think what's intriguing about people in the concept is that if there's no governing force anymore dictating our morality, how would we govern ourselves? And what is holding us in control? Is it the government? Is it the police? And if they're gone, what do we do?
Leave my daughter alone. You can do what you want to me, Diego.
I will. Trust me when I tell you, I will.
We certainly don't set out to make these films as a dark, nihilistic pursuit.
The purpose of the movie is to be a fun, engaging, exciting, action, scary movie.
You know, we want you to come away with your pulse having been raised and adrenaline pumping and saying, I hope there's a purge next year.
When I came up with it, I thought it was this kind of Roger Corman-esque B-movie idea that was incredibly far-fetched. But when people talk about it, they think it's almost possible, which is terrifying. But that's what makes it, I guess, a true horror movie then. It's really scary.
Say it with me. Let us begin.
I always knew if I was going to do part 3, I wanted to do something about ending the purge. Then I came up with the idea of doing a political thriller. So I wanted the stakes to be higher, so I knew it had to be bigger than just people surviving the night. This is more about the country surviving the morality of what they've fallen into. I always said it's the religionization of murder, where they've now taken it to this place where some people have actually bought into the idea, if you do this, you're kind of scouring your soul of all this badness and vile nature, and once you get it out, you're a better person.
His light entered your heart, Herman.
This is just one of a dozen protests around our capital after reports emerged claiming that the new founding fathers had been using the purge to help their own economic agenda.
The whole movie really is about class warfare. It's about the lower class, the poor class, the disenfranchised, and we focus primarily on the lower income side, which is Joe, Laney, and Marcos, who the senator and Leo hook up with. But really, the movie ultimately is about that, this kind of class divide, and how they function on this night, and how the rich is treating the poor. And I think there's a great allegory to what's happening in the world right now.
Just take a second.
I think the most interesting thing about this franchise is that it, in some ways, does hit close to home. I think that the idea is extreme, but it's not far-fetched. In today's society, there is this fight between the lower class, middle class, and upper class. Right now, we're trying to be very political about it, but there is that fear. You know, we don't respect authority anymore. We fear authority.
You've got people who are extreme left and extreme right, and they're all polarized because of their values and their views.
So many people in our world today, I think, see that society has become very uncivil.
I'll take whatever the fuck I want. This is what the purge is all about. Me getting mine, you getting yours, and nobody stopping anybody.
These films, as horrific as the idea is to most of us, we're all capable of some very dark things. You hope that it becomes a cautionary tale.
Go! Cut. Let's go one more time, guys. This director, James DeMonico, has tricks up his sleeve that I am blown away by every single day.
Working with a writer-director is always better because they understand what they want and they have a vision. And so as an actor, you can do your thing and he can do his thing. And then we do our things together and we don't get in each other's way. We understand each other. And that's such a gift.
He's an actor's dream. That's what he is, because he listens closely. He goes with your ideas. If your idea doesn't work, he'll come up and he says something to you, and then you just move on to something else. And he runs a really tight, easy set.
There's a lot of humanity in the way that James writes. You know, he writes about ordinary people under extraordinary circumstances, and that's some of my favorite stuff to watch.
James went to a particularly dark and unsavory place when he wrote this movie because there is incredible amounts of gory violence and horrible situations consistently.
And some of them we've been talking about for years.
Years, yes.
I've been coming up with this crazy stuff since I'm little. I think other people are more surprised than me because the truly weird stuff I actually can't even write. Like the first draft of Purge 1, only one person has ever seen, and it was my producer, Sebastien Lemercier. And he read it and he's like, this is completely unfilmable. This is rated like 100 X's. I don't even know what the rating would be. So I think I'm actually containing myself. I read all the stuff that Kubrick said, that violence in movies is actually cathartic, you know? So I think when people hear the concept that you can go out and do whatever you want one night, and you could take out your enemies and people who have wronged you, there's a great wish fulfillment in that, which is somewhat scary, but hopefully 99% of the people won't do that.
I think it's a very compelling concept. I think every one of us, at some time or another, is like, I wish I don't know about kill someone, but I wish it was legal to do this, I wish it was legal to do that. I think people like to imagine and see scenarios of what it would be like when crime is legal for that short time every year.
In these movies, we get that opportunity to experience that, to allow ourselves to kind of go there in the dark of the theater, and then be able to go on with the rest of our lives knowing that we are not those people. We are not that person. We choose not to make those steps into the darkness.
I'm an action hero. I'm an action anti-hero. Fate of the country's at stake. It's my show now. The action is twice as good as it was in Purge Anarchy, and I loved Purge. I was so surprised by that film.
Leo Bond's our hero of Anarchy is back. He was pro-Purge Anarchy. He was going out to avenge the death of his son.
He had a wonderful arc where he went out on Purge night and at the end of the day did the right thing.
I almost did something on Purge night that would have destroyed a lot of lives. In Purge Anarchy, we come to find out that Leo was a Secret Service man. He was a cop, basically. And after the last movie, he gets back into his life. And that's where we start the third Purge. I want men there. I want men there. She's got some security, but I'm revamping the entire thing. We got new barricades on all the doors. Looks safe. Chief, if you tell me it's safe one more time, I'm gonna throw you down the steps.
He's a very cynical guy at the opening of the second movie, and I think he kind of sees the light by the end of the movie.
So now he's on the flip side of it saying, I know what it's like. I know how dark it can be. I know it can ruin lives. I see how it's ruining America.
He wants to see the Purge gone. This isn't a drill. Someone's coming to kill you. You understand me? Stunts in this movie were there were twice as many of them, and it was twice as hard as Purge Anarchy. I do a lot more hand-to-hand combat, and I do it all myself, so there are a lot of bruises on my body.
Unlike a lot of actors I've worked with or met, Frank's an actual real tough guy. He's not pretending to be tough. I wouldn't mess with Frank in real life. And I think that comes across on screen. I think that's why people like him. He's not pretending. Frank can beat people up for real.
Frank, coming from a boxing and MMA background, is a talented fighter with very fast hands. I learned that when we started shooting it. So I had to move much more quickly than I was used to in rehearsals. We've got this huge knife fight between myself and our hero, Leo. And this was a massively choreographed, minute-and-a-half long, brutal knife fight, which we spent probably 10 hours rehearsing, and it took about 5 hours to shoot that fight sequence.
Frank's willing to do anything. And the stunt guys love it. The stunt guys like someone who's going to play with them, like, hard. So it's great not to have to shoot around a stunt double.
It's behind you, Leo. 35 yards back, 15 yards up. Our main character, Leo, his main sidearm is the Beretta 9mm 92F. He carries this throughout the show and uses it in many different manners for security purposes for Senator Rome.
Frank's my favorite. He's a crazy person. He'd be happy if I said that. He's badass. Frank's badass, and you feel that.
I take care of business.
I want a last shot for everyone. That's the purge.
Interesting term.
The purge, sadly, is more relevant than ever before, and I think that has a lot to do with what's going on in the country, and I think the purge touches a nerve as a result of that.
As a filmmaker of color, I really wanted to address the political issues head on.
I think what makes the Purge saga scary is the fact that it hits close to home. Like, it's not even the killing that makes it scary, it's just the idea that this could be America one day.
The prequel allows us to really dive into the reasons and the reaction of the people to the Purge.
They have monetized and incentivized murder.
The Founding Fathers talked the country into trying the purge out, and the place they choose is Staten Island.
It's an experiment, so it has to be contained.
It's an island, so, you're isolated from the rest of the city.
The island is able to be locked off.
The Park Hill Towers, the center of the community, many people are looking at them as a gauge of the Purge's success.
It's based on the real neighborhood of Park Hill in Staten Island.
I mean, it's a little rough and tumble. It's Staten Island, where Wu-Tang is from.
Setting this film in Park Hill felt personal to me because I relate to the people, the community, their struggles, and I saw myself in these people.
The Founding Fathers have this secret agenda, which is really a class war.
3, 2, 1!
We get to see the people who were responsible for creating the experiment, but then also we get to experience what it was for the victims of this experimentation.
I play Nia Charms, and she is an activist for her community. And I like to think of her as a warrior princess.
Dimitri is an unlikely hero because he's a drug dealer.
I think the biggest part of this process for me was sort of justifying how he could care about the community so much, but at the same time, he's a drug dealer, so it's a tough contradiction to play.
We got a lot of talking to do after all this is done, all right?
Isaiah is an adolescent boy who's stepping into manhood, and within this journey of the film, he goes literally from a boy to a man.
Skeletor is so scary. I just saw him for the first time. He is the most terrifying person.
Gerard has honestly, he's been a blessing in terms of allowing me to make the character all I thought it could be. What we see on Skeletor, the scarification. I had specific tattoos that I wanted, and I hope they will impact audiences.
You see me, NFFA?
He's just evil for evil's sake.
Then there's me, the comic relief.
Oh, but it gets better. Because I shit on myself a little bit when I was on my way home. My fucking bowels done joined the purge, too.
Like, I'm bloody. Like, there's murders happening. And how do I do this? How do I make the moments lighter? The director, he gave me freedom to help develop her and to make her fully Dolores. It tastes like old man ass. Don't ask me, I know.
I really enjoy working with Gerard. He's so cool and laid back and just brings that realistic element to the scenario. Like, of course, the stakes are really high, but we're still real people. We still have to go back to work after this night. He never lets us forget the realistic component.
This particular Purge is a great story. It had a primary Black and Latino cast, which really drew me personally as a filmmaker, and I thought it was a prime opportunity to really make a unique film.
This could be just like a horror movie, but I don't feel like it's that. I feel like it's a much stronger, important message.
This Purge is like no other.
In my mind, I see it as a happy ending, but the purge will prevail.
I just can't wait. I just can't wait. I want to watch it. I'm like, we're still filming it, but I just want it to be done so I can watch it because I'm a fan.
We've got gun battles, we've got fire burns, we've got a big car crash.
Getting dirty is really exciting.
And the scope of the movie is much, much bigger than we've ever done before.
We're really lucky on this film because we have some amazing actors that are all willing to do their own action. One of my favorites is this stairwell fight that we have with Elan.
I like being intense, so for me to be able to get in there and get my heart beating, getting those adrenaline glands going, that's been cool.
Jesus, that's a hand cannon. Let me see that.
This is my first time shooting a gun, and having to fire at someone was crazy. This is my first time being able to do this much action.
The fans always say we want more purging, so we definitely deliver on this movie more than we have ever before.
The Purge is also known for its mask.
The teeth mask, it's creepy and freaky looking.
I think the most interesting part about this installment of The Purge is that there's a lot of political statements going on with masks.
The ones that I've seen that have shifted me on the inside were the ones that had like historical context, like their blackface masks. Those are really unsettling to see.
The Founding Fathers send in mercenaries, which are the first incarnation of the masks we see in the later Purge movies.
These people are wearing masks because they want to look like they're citizens of Staten Island.
My group is known as the Smileys because they all wear smiley masks. And I come on in an outfit which is a bit SS and a bit S&M. I think of it as SS&M.
It's horrifying.
The idea of the Purge is just a very simple idea. What if, one night a year, all crime was legal, including murder?
It touched a nerve about violence in the world, and particularly in the United States, and that's what made it cross over from a good, scary movie.
It's Purge night. Anything goes.
We are going to a TV series at the peak of the film's success.
Now we're given this 10 hours to really explore a universe.
Living and dying is the only option tonight.
And get into the kind of social issues that I think the Purge alludes to, that mirror the society we're in right now.
It's the beauty of America. Opportunity for all.
We really wanted a platform to explore character and motivation and really get inside people's heads.
We should purge him. You'd purge over a bad day?
Primarily, the show will take place on Purge night, but then we start using this device of flashbacks where we start to see people planning. We see the seeds of motivation. We see the seeds of anger between people. All that stuff that's brewing between human beings that I think people could relate to, that will then come to fruition on Purge night, on how people will act out and exact revenge against people who have wronged them.
There must be something you need to purge.
The stories that I love are stories that really reflect our everyday humanity, and so The Purge does that. You have this space of one night. If anything was possible, what could you do, and who would you want to get rid of?
In human history, there's been many purges, right? This is not like a new concept. And what attracted me immediately was the sort of deeper, political and cultural context that essentially, I believe at its heart is a cautionary tale.
There's something so
unpredictable about the world that we're living in, that the purge is something that could actually happen.
What is this place? This place? This is capitalism, honey. Out there's the demand, we're the supply.
It mirrors what's going on today with the top 1% always being okay and the lower class families not being taken care of, and also what's going on with, unfortunately, the violence and how easy it is to purchase a gun.
Look at this beast. Sends out 200,000 volts. Man, we gonna fry some ass tonight.
You start off thinking there's good guys and there's bad guys, and of course, the purges. It's a horrible, terrible idea. But then, as the story progresses, you start to see characters in different compromising positions, and then there's no concrete good or bad.
I need to know the who and the where, nothing more. The why, keep that for yourself.
What is just, what is good, what is fair for the individual. It's a very singular mindset to have and singular actions that people take, and they take them willingly because the law allows that to happen.
Our staff will hand out your weapons. Each one has been handcrafted. Blessed be America, a nation reborn.
In our show, too, is the question of, are we all susceptible to doing what happens on this night? Are we all capable of purging?
You kind of get to see where all that comes from. Why are people committing these crimes?
We've brought a brilliant cast, so it's kind of fascinating to watch these actors pull it off, and I think each one of them has elevated the material. The Purge is very ambitious for a television show.
My name is Michael Martin. I'm the prop master on The Purge.
I'm Ashley Clements. I'm the assistant prop master on The Purge. This space is our big truck that we always have with us on set. Over here, these are our character bins. Jane is definitely corporate. Jane's briefcase.
He has a resume.
Welcome aboard, Jane Barber.
Thank you. You won't regret my hiring.
Envelope of money.
All my money's here?
All of it.
No contact from this point on. You'll get a text when it's done.
Miguel is one of the main characters on The Purge. He comes equipped with the vest and a gun. We never keep any real weapons or even like the airsoft in their bins. Usually he'll have a rubber, you know, if we're not up close on it.
And night vision goggles.
Character Joe is a big combination of us and costumes because he wears like armor. He has this whole belt. So costumes just help create, you know, what the armor and the overall aesthetic looks like, and then we get to have the fun job of propping him up with weapons.
My name is Lauren Bott. I'm the costume designer on The Purge.
Jenna, does it look like a rental?
No way. You look amazing.
I like to read the script first just for story. Then I sort of read it again and pick out the moments that they've discussed, like, you know, a specific shirt or a specific dress. And then I take each character and I read the script thoroughly for that one character. So for Miguel, he's in one outfit the entire time. It was just about pulling pieces of his history. It's pulling where he comes from, how he feels, what's his motive in the script. Then you have the cult, which we custom built all of the robes. We got to source the fabric and build for the younger guys and then the older guys. And then you have this huge, rich, really intense party. To me, it represented all the different layers of society, and getting to dress all of those sort of equally is nice. We have been having to pump out masks. Every single person has a different sort of whimsical and then also extremely creepy serial killer mask. On top of that, we did 50 fun party glittery masks. The challenge, I think, is pumping them out and having them maintain a level of creativity.
We wear these masks to commemorate those who paved the way and purged before it was legal.
Another 2 ounces of blood on his shirt.
So different types of blood for different situations.
Like if you have it on the
colors.
mouth, you know, you have to use a certain blood. There's flowing blood. The depending like if it's the cut, if there's drying blood, there's all different types.
I think a lot of work's been put into it, and I think it'll show on TV.
Working with the showrunner, the production designer, the actors, everyone to help the character really come to life is really, really fun.
Blessed be America, nation reborn.
A future more prosperous.
What's up? I'm Gabriel Chavarria. I'm playing Miguel. And here we are, day one, The Purge. We're doing a lot of fun things today. The energy's great. We're excited.
I'm Tom Kelly, the showrunner of The Purge. Today we get to put an actor in a trunk, and he has to drive around in the trunk for a while. I'm sure he's glad he went to the acting school now.
Hey, cut.
I'm Anthony Hemingway, here on the set of The Purge. We found this place very haphazardly. What it does visually, I think it really represents kind of the whirlwind in which our character Miguel is going through. He's in search for his sister Penelope. He's going through a turmoil in his life.
Action!
I'm looking for Henry. I'm an old friend.
I know all of Henry's friends, but I don't know your ass.
My name is George Quinones, and today I'm playing the role of Tea Time.
Who is it?
Which is a meth addict. As you can see, I'm disheveled looking, and I just got beat up all over the place, and I was pretty high on meth as well, so.
We just got done shooting a cool fight sequence, and I think you guys will love it.
Hey, cut it.
This is day one, and there's great energy on the set, and everyone's working in a very focused and excited kind of manner.
What's with Katie? Why is she cuffed? And that's for her own good. We're having a little holiday soiree later. Sweet Kaylee's gonna be our purge dessert.
My name is Jordan Sloan. I play Lenza. This is Maddie.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm Maddie Nichols, and I play Kaylee.
And it is about 1 hour from the purge, since the purge starts at 7, so we have about an hour to get back at home.
It's purge night. Anything goes.
Hey, cut it.
There you have it, day one on The Purge.
As a stunt coordinator, when I get the script in front of me, it's just words on a page, and a lot of times the words are very general. A fight ensues. Okay, what is that fight? Gauntlet was the big sequence of the series so far, where Miguel, our lead, has to make his way through this sort of crazy game show of death.
Got a contestant, boss. It's showtime.
So on Run, our sparks happen. Yes. Top of the banners.
Stunts is always fun, and it just shows a lot about Miguel's skill and what he's capable of doing. It's funny because makeup will come and spray water and stuff, but I'm already dripping in sweat.
We got some pyrotechnics going on in this next piece. There'll be cars on fire, all kinds of crazy stuff. Because your mind and your mentality is, I'm gonna win, right?
Tonight, I'm actually playing the Gauntlet cameraman. Again, I'm Andy Dillon, I'm the stunt coordinator. And the reason for this is because first and foremost is the actor's safety. I'll be following behind Miguel. A lot of people think that the stunt coordinator, what they really want to do is have stunt doubles in. Our goal is to give the director, the actor, as much as possible. And our stunt double is probably just going to sit on the sidelines because Gabe is that good.
When he gets about here, start 3. 3, 2, 1,
One thing goes wrong, we got to start over. Probably the most challenging part of being a stunt coordinator is that you, in a good way, manipulate the vision of the director into what we can get the most out of when it comes to our stunts and our budget. We want the audience to walk away thinking that they saw something real.
I think you guys are going to really enjoy it, so stay tuned. The Purge, we here.
My name is Amanda Warren, and I play Jane on The Purge. What motivates Jane is determination, drive, success.
Congratulations, boss.
You did it.
No, everybody worked hard. I'm especially pleased with the two of you for stepping up tonight. Her pursuit of justice and fairness and what's right and what's earned is a really strong quality of Jane's.
Jane, who's an African-American woman who works in corporate America, she's been denied advancement because of her gender and her race, which is an all too familiar story, unfortunately.
Have you spoken to the guys in Houston?
No.
The Germans just pulled out, and I need this reworked by tomorrow morning. I'm sorry.
I'll handle that. Jane has seniority.
Actually, I need a more seasoned hand. Sorry, Jane.
Things have taken a toll on her. There's been a lot of build-up to Purge night, and a lot of things all of a sudden become intolerable.
The Snyder-Robbins deal closed. 30 on the dollar.
Oh, now we can stop dodging their calls.
Yeah.
Anya's killing it, don't you think?
She decides out of frustration to take advantage of the Purge and set some act of violence in motion.
I get it's your first time, but you don't have to be worried. I'm good at what I do. Thank you for that. Besides, you never expect a woman.
Raka, she's this intensely fierce woman who goes out into the street and lays down the law.
There's no turning back. You can follow my progress live through the app, right? You're third tonight. Depending on what I run into, it may not get filled for several hours. You got it? I got it.
Jane's stance on this blood holiday is that it is legal, therefore it is one's right to obey the law.
She's a deeply centered, moral human being, and she realizes it's a mistake, it's not who she is. She sort of betrayed herself and her moral center, so she puts herself at grave danger to undo what she has set in motion.
My name is Colin Waddell, and I'm playing Rick Betancourt.
My name is Hannah Emily Anderson, and I play Jenna.
My name is Lily Simmons, and I play Lila. Jenna and Rick and I live in the same town. I think in the beginning it was all very playful.
Lila becomes a very big part of Rick's life.
I was talking to my dad about you. He's a big fan.
Lila's father happens to be one of the wealthiest men in the world.
It's gonna be fun, you two.
And he is someone who has the keys to a lot of the kingdom that will help Rick and Jenna financially with their business plan.
We're making a deal with the devil, babe. Let's celebrate.
Jenna is trying to keep her marriage intact. I saw something tonight. I missed you. Something I hope wasn't true.
You're the last person I thought I'd see tonight.
Stay away from my wife.
I love you.
I don't trust her, and neither should you.
You do seem different.
My name is Gabriel Chavarria, and I play Miguel.
I'm Jessica Garza, and I play Penelope.
Penelope views the Purge as a blessing. She sees tonight as the end of all of her pain and suffering that she's been going through. She'll be reunited with her parents, which is all she's ever wanted.
The parents passed on the first Purge, and they were young. They were kids when that happened.
Do not come out until after you hear those sirens again, okay? Please stay together. Promise me? Me lo prometen? Prometemos. Okay, I love you.
The main thing that drives Miguel is that she's all he has.
He's like so wired. I feel like you look at him wrong for like 2 seconds. He wants to kill you.
He's just angry. I get it, so am I.
No, you're sad. There's a difference.
We are the scarred, the beaten, and it is that shared pain that allows us to understand each other so deeply. That suffering ends, my darlings.
He comes to find out that his sister has joined his cult.
The cult is led by good leader Tavis, and she has amassed this group of very young people into joining her on Purge Night. But instead of going out on Purge Night to purge like most people do, they're going out to be purged.
It is the giving time. Now we must do our duty. Arthur, it is your turn.
They believe that that sacrifice will release purgers of their sins, and they believe it'll make the world a better place.
The giving is here. The invisible wins.
He's on a mission to save her.
Let me see your hands.
Penelope Guerrero, if you can hear me, I promise I'm gonna find you.
In every Purge movie, and then in our show too, is the question of, are we all susceptible to doing what happens on this night? Are we all capable of purging?
Such a very unique idea. It's gonna be a wild ride.
What happens on Purge Night stays on Purge Night.
Purge.
Action!
In the second season of The Purge, we're going to get to explore how people's behavior changes when they live in a society where the purge takes place.
Estimates come in already. Biggest purge in city history.
It follows these characters throughout the entire year, so you get to see what it's been like for them and the repercussions of their actions.
Clear. Ryan has decided to take advantage of the purge opportunity and leads up a team that are purging the bank. You see how it changes their personalities and how they sort of are more inclined to set aside their moral compass.
Breaking and entering off Purge.
This is the score to fund the rest of our lives.
Being off Purge allows us to explore characters much deeper.
You're getting the long-term effects psychologically on all the characters.
I haven't been acting like myself.
Ben is our virgin purger. Goes out for his first Purge night.
Don't leave me!
It changes him forever.
Ben, go!
Marcus's storyline is that someone is hired to kill him on a Purge night. Now he has 1 year to figure out who's hired this Purge assassin.
Somebody tried to purge me, and everything is different now. Everything around him is just becoming undone, unhinged, and it's the first time in his life where he's uncertain.
You would never purge anyone.
Honey, maybe I'm changing.
They cannot trust their neighbors, people who have been in their home. They are not really trusting of each other.
The vast majority of domestic purges are committed by the spouse.
It's a surveillance state. It's a world of paranoia.
Why were you following me?
We also see the people that work for the NFFA and how they have to go about their life catching people that have done wrong outside of the sirens.
Armed robbery. Initiate liquidation protocol.
Esme, she really believes in the NFFA, and she actually thinks that she's protecting people. And then she discovers her whole life is now a lie.
The Purge could be making people more violent. If they're lying about the Purge, what else could they be covering up?
Your actions are heightened, and people think about what they do much more carefully.
At any moment, somebody could put you on their purge list.
There is no safety.
There's inherently much more drama in between purges.
Every year, the purge gets worse.
We almost died last night.
Chaos in the streets, more jackals.
People want to kill more. Not just on Purge, but every day of the year.
Your actions can have much bigger ramifications than they ordinarily have.
Whoever's after me, they're not gonna wait.
3, 2, 1, action!
What makes season 2 very unique is that we start 2 hours left in Purge, which we've never done before. And then we follow the repercussions of that Purge over the next 12 months, leading to the next Purge.
Sirens! I can make it. You're gonna get a chance to see how all the characters spend the rest of the 364 days around the Purge. Honey, I wanna know who almost purged me.
We always have talked about what would happen between purges. We've just never got to show it till this season.
Excuse me.
I think the world that we created, it's super interesting. The characters are complex, exciting. The writing is great, the directors are amazing.
Action!
Someone is in the house.
This season's gonna allow fans to really imagine themselves inside the Purge world.
We shouldn't be out here.
This is our year to dive in and really figure all those rules out and figure out what the world looks like the rest of the year.
You hereby forfeit your rights as a United States citizen.
It is super exciting and disturbing and scary.
There are so many plot twists and turns and unexpected things that happen to every character in it.
There's a lot of tension, which I think fans will enjoy.
I think it's gonna really keep the audience on its toes.
It's gonna get you right in the guts.
There's some great action sequences, a lot of special effects, a ton of stunts.
A lot of thrills, excitement, gore.
It's going to be terrifying, exciting, and fun.
So much fun.
I've seen what people do when they think no one's watching.
You won't want to miss it.
Everyone knows the Purge. But when they hear that it's a Forever Purge, it's like, oh my God, what?
The Purge is over, and now the cleanup has begun.
The twist is really incredible. The concept that the Purge would be ever after, like, never end.
Everybody's trying to survive in this madness.
There are no rules in this movie.
James DeMonico and Everardo Gout explore the Purge in super cool, interesting, and unique and different ways. There's some amazing, huge desert vistas and all sorts of settings that have never been in any Purge movie before.
This is the very first one to be shot in daylight.
I actually think that you see things differently during the day. You really get the sense that it's continuing. Because we've never had an act of violence in daytime in the Purge world.
I think it's scary to see blood in daylight, to see someone get shot in daylight. It's way more traumatic. It's way more freaky and realistic.
What is scary about the Purge is that it's the worst nightmare of society. This one is really about the collapse of the system. The joy of destruction is stronger than the love of society and civilization. There's things that obviously we all have in common, which is our humanity. Whenever we forget that, the worst things happen, and that's what we wanted to explore.
Bueno, pues pónganse cómodos, que vamos a estar aquí por las próximas 12 horas.
Winning America, como me dijiste el otro día.
No, that's not what I meant.
We make two versions of the same scene, one in English, one in Spanish. Because these characters are immigrants, they are bilingual. They have to learn a new culture. They are leaving behind everything. It's not easy. Me recuerda casa de ella.
Esta es nuestra casa ahora.
I think that it's really important for a lot of the film to be in Spanish, just to speak to a wider audience. It's important for Adela and Juan, played by Anna and Tenoch, to be our heroes.
Eso no me muevo mucho.
Sí, o sea, creo que es mucho más
estática, okay.
Con gravedad, yo creo que
okay.
We knew we wanted a Mexican director to help us tell this particular story. Everardo had a super genuine enthusiasm for it. He had great ideas about it.
What's cool about Everardo's approach is he wants everything to feel like it's real.
He's so passionate and he's going to tell a great story.
His style of directing is very different. It's something that's more based on visual art also at times rather than just storytelling. I think the American way is more focused just on the storytelling, and Everardo brought us a touch of poetry, if I may say.
I'm a puppeteer that's working Horse One. I've been doing this about 30 years. Director's happy, I'm happy. So the most important thing.
Juan viene a calmar un caballo que está siendo muy complicado de domar, porque él tiene un don muy particular con los caballos, puede comunicarse muy bien con ellos. Más o menos me explicaron cómo funciona este caballo, cómo va a ser la dinámica. La verdad fue muy útil.
We were born in horses, so we got cast the right way.
I have done my fair share of horror thrillers, but never one to this scale.
This is pretty much like an action movie. You need a lot of physicality and a lot of energy.
We have incredible stunt teams. We have incredible special effects teams.
You can see that.
So today we're on set, we're working with a big crew with a ton of people, a ton of effects, a ton of prop builders. We're shooting a scene where thing 1 and thing 2 are jumping out, and we're attempting to capture our lead actress for the scene and attempt to kill her, and hopefully everything goes as planned.
Our primary special effect is the flipping of this cage, which was fabricated over 2 weeks. This is an insanely complex rig.
There's this sweet goat in a cage, so she's trying to release her from there. And I was scared for my eyes because it has the horns, so I had to get really close to it.
We basically use our skills to take an actor and flip them by their neck onto their back.
I was doing all this. I was kind of excited, but the next day I couldn't move. Help me! The last few takes, I didn't have a voice anymore. We shot that for 2 days. Help me! It was a lot of work.
Okay, let's go again.
Everardo wants to have this as a one-take shot.
One of the first things Everardo talked to me about was that sequence.
The scene starts inside of the semi-truck. Inside the truck, the camera guy's in the middle. He does a full 360 inside the cab. Tenoch jumps out. The camera follows Tenoch. He hands that to another camera operator, and then all of us follow him out of the truck.
That was fucking amazing. When we came and scouted this thing, I thought he was insane. And he is, and that was awesome.
We have had some of the best actors to work with on this film. It's been absolutely a joy.
There is a sense of cariño. There's a sense of comfort and family.
We're in this together. We had a really, really good time.
Mexico is opening their borders for the next 6 hours.
We don't have huge budget. We cannot compete in that world. What we can compete with is in authenticity and creating emotion for the audience.
This is our last time.
Part of the reason why I love the horror genre is we get to create so many interesting looks. I've been very familiar with the Purge series throughout the years. This one in particular had so many amazing elements. There were so many things that need to be evaluated. Since this is the very first one to be shot in daylight.
This is the real Purge, eternal Purge.
It was so fun meeting Everardo for the first time. We had some amazing meetings in the beginning to discuss concepts for all of the characters, for all of the looks. We wanted to pump up the volume and really create this kind of what the heck kind of look. There were so many interesting characters coming into this world. They had this kind of underlying thematic of animals and knives. Adela works in this factory, so there's this element of cutting animals. My assistant costume designer had this butcher's apron. It's metal, and they don't use them anymore because apparently some of them would get cut and pieces of metal would fall off. We took that idea and we really expanded on it, working with the person creating the masks in this kind of animal thematics. One of them was thing 1 and thing 2. The whole thing is just very bizarre. Help me! They're just so crazy. I can really see the next Halloween after this movie comes out, people really dressing like them.
The purge is over!
This is very scary. One of my favorite things to work on was the Demon Cowboys. I loved coming up with that design and this dark look coming in on this ranch. I loved trying to create these unique looks. Just bloodying people and dirtying people and really making the aesthetic of the film. I think we did that.